Let's go, Rider Nation.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Yeah, here we go. It's a feeling now. Get 'em high, get 'em low, 'cause we're dealing now. Everybody's giving it all they got, 'cause we're ready.
Welcome to the Piffles Podcast, your Saskatchewan Roughriders fan podcast. Just want to say, a week later, and we're still Grey Cup champions. And I got to say one more thing really quick. Cliffy, I love you, man. Thank you for this. We got some confetti from the field. It's stuck, but there we go. I'm going to bathe in this stuff for hours. Oh, man.
Just going to do the entire episode with confetti on your head?
Yeah, we'll see how much of it stays on there. I got still another half a bag here. So
there we go.
Thanks for joining us here this week. We appreciate it. Listening on your favorite podcast platform, watching on YouTube, watching live on X, Facebook, or YouTube, and SaskTel Max TV on demand. As always, you got me. I'm Alex.
I'm Steve.
And I am suffering through the tail ends of the Winnipeg. I cannot get rid of this cough, guys. I have no idea. I feel fine. Then all of a sudden my lung wants to leave my body.
Nothing good ever happened. Well, one thing good.
One good thing has happened in Winnipeg recently. One good thing.
I don't know. The Banjo Bowl was pretty good, too.
Okay, two good things.
The Banjo Bowl back in 2008. Yeah. Three good things.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, Greg. That's no fun.
Hey, worth
I'm
it.
not.
It was worth it. Every second was worth it.
Give us a follow on social media at PifflesPod. I'm at Real Alex D.
You can find me at Saphimod.
And as always, I do not need nor want your pity follows at Greg on Sports.
Piffles Podcast, of course, is brought to you by Dairy Queen on Elphinstone Street and Sass Drive in Regina. Just want to say, got a Treats of Pizza the other night for Amy's birthday, and it was awesome.
Are Treats of Pizzas ever not awesome?
No.
Score?
No.
Was it a score one?
It was a score one, yes.
Yeah, well, yeah. If you get the tier, like top tier one, that's why.
Well, it was Amy's birthday. It was her choice, right? So she's got good taste, except in men. Piffles Podcast is all. You're not disagreeing, right? We're also proud to be sponsored by Kathy Festrin of Royal LePage Next Level, Churchill Brewing Company, District 306, Regina's Tactical Laser Tag Experience, Bigfoot Vodka, and Creasy's Premium Home Leisure Jacuzzi Spas. Well, the dust has settled on the 2020, what year is it? 2025 CFL season. My life's a mess right now. I'm sorry. It's so weird to me because usually like a week prior to this is when we're already looking forward to next year, and I still want to bask in all this, and I'm still going to do that. Don't get me wrong. But there's a lot of stuff to look forward to in 2026, and it's all about the free agents. Let's get to talking about it. It's time for the opening kickoff. I got one of those confetti pieces in my drink too. That's no fun. Steve, that piece is yours.
Yay!
So we'll start with kind of the big news in Riderville right now. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Corey Mace apparently declined talking to the Toronto Argonauts about their head coaching availability. Well, one, thank you, Coach Mace, for declining. Two, can you decline something that never actually happened? Because Jeremy O'Day said that the Argos never contacted the team or Corey Mace about interviewing. So where's this coming from?
You would have to think. Let's be honest. There's a lot of behind the scenes texts and phone calls that happen that are not through official channels. And at some point, I guarantee you someone basically told Corey the water's warm over here. And he said, I'd rather jump in this cold tub and scream woo.
I wonder if it was one of those, the Argos reach out to him. Do we even bother getting permission? And he just went, no. Don't waste that phone call. He's not saying that if it didn't happen. I think we can agree on that. So I don't trust the Argos not to go above or below board and, try and do things the questionable way to make it happen.
And honestly, if you're the Argos, you're turning over every stone right now. The
Oh,
fact that
you have to
Dinwiddie left so rapidly probably wasn't in their cards. Sounds like they were expecting to at least get the option to match, if not beat, the Red Blacks offer, and it sounded like he went there and said, "Nope, I'm staying here. Like, send my stuff in a box." So it's, if you're the Argos, you got to remember when the Riders got Chris Jones off of Edmonton. Like, that was the world's worst kept secret. Everyone knew going into the Grey Cup that Chris Jones was going to be Saskatchewan Roughrider the following season.
Yeah.
Like, this stuff happens all the time.
But I don't think anybody saw that Ryan Dinwiddie move happening until the announcement came out, and all of a sudden he's gone, and now they're left scrambling. They lost out on Mace. They lost out on Steinauer. Who else has already turned them down? Like, this is going to be an interesting offseason in Argo land.
Well, like I kind of put out on Twitter, like the Argos are going to go for all these big swings and going to end up with their version of Craig Dickinson, whatever that is. Like, unfortunately, they're put into a situation where there's no one really out there unless they want to trot out Rick Campbell as their savior, and I don't know what's going to happen here. I think it's probably going to be a young guy given his first shot, which might work out for them, worked out for us with Corey Mace. But is Pete Costanza ready? Is Jason Shivers ready? I don't know.
I know there's a lot of Red Blacks fans that are certainly hoping Rick Campbell is announced as the head coach in Toronto, because he doesn't get a lot of love out in Red Black land. But again, that's Toronto's problem. It's not our problem anymore. Isn't it great? We're not playing the who's our coach game anymore. We know who he is for a long time.
Yeah, but we're going to be talking about who's our quarterback, who's our starting safety, who's our receiving group, and that's where this show's headed today. All about the free agents. So we'll get there. Official Rider news, team signings, a handful of them over the last week. Defensive back Gideon Ajayi. I know I pronounced his name wrong. I will learn that one day. He was a draft pick from last year, DB out of the UFC. Deshaun Mims, the receiver, who was on our practice roster last year. Again, draft pick from last year. Chico Bennett Jr. on the defensive line. Quarterback Braden Shager, who that was the interesting one where they brought him in when practice rosters expanded, released him, put him back on their neg list, signed him to a futures contract. Now it's official. Offensive lineman Yusuf Carter, defensive back Sei Oladipo Jr., defensive lineman Liam Hoskins, who was a draft pick from last year as well, and offensive lineman Darius Washington, one of the Americans that started a couple of games here this season, ended the year on the practice roster. So those are the official moves, depth pieces, young pieces, stuff in the future, right? So it's none of the big ones that anybody's hoping for yet.
You say none of the big ones, but as of right now, Braden Shager is currently QB1 in Saskatchewan. So, yikes.
I've known nothing about this guy, but we've had worse.
Oh, yes. Many a worse.
Less than 10 years ago. What was it when Tino and Brett Smith were running show? Durant got hurt.
God, we've come a long way.
But the nice thing, what I do like about this list of signings that they've had over the last week is it's draft picks from last year. We're going to see Daniel Weeb, the receiver, sign at some point here. We're going to get hopefully Eric Anderson, the offensive lineman, and hopefully I'm blanking on his name. I had it in front of me not too long ago.
Curtis Rourke?
No, not that one. Well, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. Yeah. Seth Hundeby, linebacker, who we actually talked to at the combine. Looking forward to seeing him get signed and being green and white here. And speaking of Hundeby and Eric Anderson, both of them were named U Sports. Hundeby was top U Sports Defensive Player of the Year, and Eric Anderson was U Sports Top Lineman of the Year. So Some nice accolades for our draft class of last year, which Jeremy O'Day over the last number of years has absolutely just nailed the drafts, which is going to be key when we're talking about all the upcoming free agents.
Well, and that's what we said when Reynolds had to make a decision with O'Day and Dickey, either keep one, get rid of both, or whatever. We said O'Day's drafting has been second to none in this league. Like he's found that Canadian talent to the point where you can roll the dice on a guy that you might not see for several years, and he's found that good mix of guys that can play and guys that are going to be ready in a year or two.
You can erase the word Canadian from that and just say Jeremy O'Day has found talent, because his ability to just slot people in over and over again over the last few years has been honestly second to none in the CFL right now. So that as we get into this terrifying list of free agents coming up, I'm a lot less worried than I thought I would be until some of those names come off the board, just because I know they'll find somebody to slot in, and Corey Mace will have them running through brick walls for him. That's just how this is going to go.
So let's take a look at the list of free agents. 3 Down Nation putting out all the teams' free agent lists following the ending of their seasons. And we'll just go with positional groups and go down the list here. Quarterbacks, literally everybody but Braden Shager. That's Trevor Harris, Jake Mayer, Tommy Stevens, Jack Cohen.
The good news is, and I know we're going to talk in deeper about all these guys, is they don't need to make any decisions. Like if they want a guy to go, they're like, do we take the third string over the fourth string? And this gives them a clean slate. But yeah, we talked about it earlier when Harris and Mayer were both on a 1-year deal going into this season. It's like, what's the future? I guess now we get to figure it out.
I don't care what they do as long as they bring Tommy Stevens back. That could be said for the entire free agent list. Bring him back and I will be content, because I don't ever want to go through the pain of what's up with our short yardage game ever again.
Maybe call Shea Patterson back. He seems to be instrumental in us winning. Well, we'll talk about Tommy Stevens here in a little bit. I'm sure he's going to show up in your list, Steve, of top 5 free agents that need to come back.
Spoiler alert. Yes.
Just how high is he on that list?
Yeah.
The list begins and ends with Tommy Stevens.
Yep. It might.
Tommy Stevens 5 times. That's all it is.
Running back free agents: AJ Ouellette, Kadeem Carey, Thomas Bertrand-Hudon, Albert Owachi. I think we can probably all assume that Kadeem Carey's probably not coming back. We'll get into each position throughout the weeks. We'll go through it and get updates as we get some signings. But out of that one, that's a tough one for me. That group. Want to have AJ Ouellette back. 30 years old. That's that magic number for running backs. So that's going to be an interesting one going forward.
And there might be a guy, a province to the east, that may not be happy in Bomberland. That I wouldn't hate in green and white. Just saying.
Neither would
we
I.
have puppies here.
He's not going.
No, he's never coming here.
If it came down to it, it's him or Jason Hogan. I would hope, if I'm a Winnipeg fan, that they're picking Brady Oliveira.
Okay,
I'm hoping they pick Jason Hogan.
Yeah, I hope they take Hogan as well. But and here's the weird thing is they're legitimately interviewing for Hogan's job and have not officially removed him from it yet. So he's not leaving. So if they're this open with like interviewing for people, either they're like, unless we can find someone better, you're up. But if not, guess what? You're running back coach again. I don't know how that's going to work. Like, you cannot have him in that room after the entire offense basically just gutted him in their post game. Like, they should have fired him the next day. I don't know. Like, O'Shea's loyal, but that's ridiculous.
Much like the Argos thing, not our problem. Keep him
great.
On offense, this is the big one. It's the receivers. Keyshawn Johnson, Dante Myers, Joe Robustelli, Sean Bain Jr. Those are the Americans that are free agents. The Canadians, Grey Cup, most outstanding Canadian, Sam Emilus. Kean Schaefer-Baker, fan favorite, great when he's healthy. We'll dig into that in the offseason. Tommy Neild, who ended up being my favorite player down the stretch for this team, and Mitch Picton. So there's 8 names right there, and out of those 8 names, I want 6 or 7 of them back, and that's not going to happen. So we're going to lose some serious talent there in receivers this year.
There's literally only one name on that list that I'm like, there's like a 1% chance they bring him back. The rest, I could see any of them signing or none of them signing, unfortunately.
I'm assuming the 1% is Sean Bain Jr.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep. That is an all-star receiving core that's on our free agent list, and no matter who's coming back at quarterback, that list is your priority. You need to sign minimum 4 of those guys, and that's probably on the low end.
Offensive line, the Mool, most outstanding offensive lineman, Jamarcus Hardrick headlines that list. Trevon Tate, Jacob Brammer, Sean McEwen, Philippe Gagnon, Braden Knoll, and Noah Zer. So some depth pieces, but also you have 3 guys that started in the Grey Cup on that list too.
Again, it starts and ends with Hardrick. Even at his age, you throw a blank check at him and you bring him back. He solidified that tackle position that was a question mark for, well, how long we've been doing this show for? Feels like a while.
So what you're saying is he's the Tommy Neild of offensive linemen?
Exactly.
Give him the blank check?
Yeah.
So that's on offense. That's already a huge list, and that's just the offense. On defense, it's about the same amount of names and a lot of all-stars there too. Sorry, all CFL players there too.
Yes. Yeah, get it right. Get the branding right.
Defensive line, the starters, all of them. Malik Carney, Mike Rose, Micah Johnson, Shane Ray, Habakkuk Baldonado. Depending on who's healthy, those are our starters. All of them free agents. Plus Benoit Marion, Charbel DeBeer, Lake Corte Moore, Caleb Sanders. That's literally everybody.
Let's be honest. Micah Johnson has basically already said, unless he's playing Saskatchewan, he's probably done. So let's say they run it back. Yeah, he's probably on a team-friendly deal. Let's assume a team-friendly deal. I like Habakkuk, obviously. He was on my list.
Oh, he's a
Shane
global
Ray,
come around too, right?
Yeah, and he's one of the few globals that actually gets decent reps in this league.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you got to keep him. And then I like what Mike Rose did. I like Malik Carney. Not to say anything disparage Malik Carney, because I know we've had trouble sacking guys recently, but we used to be able to find guys that can rush the quarterback. So it's going to depend on contracts.
You can basically take everything I said about the receiving core and throw it at the defensive linemen. That is our starting unit. You need to bring back at least a few of those guys just to give some familiarity going into 2026. But that's that one position that you're right, Greg. We've always been able to slot somebody in. You go back through our storied history, and there's tons of names on that defensive line that you can go, yep, that's a Hall of Famer. Yep, that's an all-star.
Fred Perry, baby.
Oh, I don't know if I want to remember much from those years. A little bit.
He was a champion.
Was he?
He was on that 07.
It was like he was on 07, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was.
Yeah, it was
You can
him
have
and
that
Chuck
one.
Bookends.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, good times. But then you look back 6 years later, and we had the John Chick and Stevie Baggs, and it seems like there's always been guys to play that position in the CFL. That might be where you see some cuts going into 2026, unless a lot of guys are taking haircuts.
I think one of the guys that you're definitely going to bring back is Caleb Sanders. I think his contract value should slip in nicely, and that team played so much better on the run when he was in the lineup for some reason. He was very good at clogging that middle. So I wouldn't be shocked to see Jo prioritize a guy like Caleb Sanders while trying to bring in those guys that are definitely going to have a Brinks truck thrown at them.
Linebackers, AJ Allen. That's the big one right there.
Yeah, I think
CJ
so.
Avery and Aubrey Miller Jr. are the other ones. Avery, like the guy, but there's no spot for him with Jameer Thurman under contract.
Nope.
And AJ Allen took his job and ran away with it. So that's AJ Allen's got to be prioritized by Jo. He's got to be like 1 or 2 on his list.
Especially when you look at his passport, he is a must sign on this team. He came in when everybody kind of thought when CJ Avery got hurt that there was some question marks there, and he jumped in and hit the ground running, and we never had an issue in our linebacking group. I mean, it's a lot easier to play pretty good next to guys like Jameer Thurman and Roland Milligan and Marcus Sales in the group behind you, but he was stellar all year.
Whenever there was a big defensive play, he was in the area.
Mm-hmm.
So he has shown himself where we don't need hieroglyphics anymore. As the season went on, there was a low key rumbling. Everyone going, we think he's the most underrated player. And meanwhile, the three of us were like, yeah, we know he's really good. About time everyone else is paying attention.
And then the defensive backs, Tavon Campbell, DeMarcus Fields, CJ Revis will put in that category as well too, just because he finished at safety. Jaden Dalkey, Kerfala Exume, Jackson Ford, and Nelson Lacombo. So depth pieces, Canadian pieces, and all-stars all in that list.
I mean, you have to, again, with passport alone, you have to look at Devon Campbell. You don't have a choice. You bring him back. Did he end up leading the league in interceptions, if I remember correctly, or tied for the league?
Might have been tied.
Yeah. And he was one, again, just like AJ Allen, who he may have gotten burnt a few times, but he was there when you needed that big play. And you can't teach that. That's just something you either have or you don't. And Tavon Campbell does. The other guy they absolutely have to bring back is Kerfala Exume.
So they have someone to blame?
I couldn't even say it with a straight face. I'm sorry. I tried.
There was a 5-way tie for most interceptions. And Tavon Campbell's definitely on that list. Stavros, Jamal Peters, Tavares McFadden, Adrian Green, Tavon Campbell.
No.
All hit 6.
Pretty stellar when you consider Campbell missed, 4 games? 5 games?
3-4 games, yeah.
Yeah,
5 games. 5 games. He only played 13 games.
Yeah. So that says everything. But
one of them,
the longer this list goes, the scarier it gets.
Well, I promise it's almost over because there's only 2 names left, and those are the special teamers, Jorgen Hughes and Mario Alford.
You got to bring Hughes back. You never know how much you miss a long snapper until you don't have one. Not saying they can't get one, but he is also the longest serving rider in a Sasky boy and is still playing football at a high level. So why?
Yeah,
Why
he's still so good on specials. Like, not just snapping the ball. I'm talking like downfield.
Oh, yeah,
he's excellent.
He gets down there, yeah. So
yeah, whether he's back or not in Saskatchewan will depend entirely on if he wants to go out at 36-year-old as a champ, and he's absolutely earned that right. But he's still got a lot of football left in him, and I hope it's here.
So that is the list of free agents, potential free agents, that Jeremy O'Day has to work on. He's not having time to throw all this confetti in the air like I am. He's hitting the grind. He's going to work. Like that's a big list. And I expect over the next week or so, we'll start seeing a couple of those names crossed off here and there.
Now I'm just picturing Jo's office like a snow globe where they just got a fan just cycling in the confetti.
Whenever somebody
They absolutely should.
Whenever he's not feeling that great, somebody says no to a contract offer, and he's just like kind of down in the dumps. He just flips the switch, and that
on the fan, and also just confetti everywhere.
Yeah.
Like a snow
We're
globe.
good.
Yeah.
Don't worry, guys. We got this. It's a good idea. Greg, you're not just another pretty face.
I know that.
So, out of the free agents, cut it down to 5. I could easily do a top 27 list, but those graphics don't exist. Thanks, Greg. Top 5. Give me your top 5 guys you want back.
Well, I've already given you the number one name. It's Tommy Stevens. I'm so tired of questioning in our short yardage group. And the last thing we need is a Shea Patterson situation happening to us again. We went through that 2018, 2019, all through that era. It starts and ends with Tommy Stevens and what he can do. And he hasn't even touched the surface on what he can do in the passing game. I'd love to see him, whatever that Shea Patterson package that they had a couple of years ago that we never used, I'd love to see them break that out.
The big one is going to be yes, Tommy Stevens, very important. Short yardage, I agree. The big one, though, is who's actually going to be playing quarterback the rest of the game. Right now, based on who's out there, and don't get me wrong, when we got Trevor Harris, he wasn't supposed to be out there. So we kind of got lucky in that situation. But I don't see that happening this year. Like, unless you think you can like repackage Drew Brown into something special, I think you got to go back. If you are serious about going back to back, Trevor Harris is your best answer, and if he wants to play. And
with what we've heard over the last week or so about guys that want to play with Trevor Harris, the list, my top 5 changes drastically if Trevor Harris isn't in the picture. He is number 1, and if he were to retire, if he would have retired already, my list would be incredibly different. I don't know if I'd probably still have Jamarcus Hardrick on my top 5 list if Harris wasn't there, especially if you're going to go with a young quarterback, right? You got to have that those tackles not locked down. But it's all about Trevor Harris, and that has that ripple effect because that's a guy who's going to command X amount of salary. Like, he's going to make a pretty decent chunk of coin. Well, now maybe you don't spend so much on receivers because you have that locked up in a quarterback. If you had a younger quarterback, cheaper quarterback, yeah, you can probably keep an extra receiver or two, but that may not be the case with the quarterback situation here.
And I will say this, the only reason Trevor Harris wasn't number 1 on my list is the vast amount of confidence I have that he's coming back in 2026. I feel like if he was retiring, we would have heard it by now. And there's been too much rumbling of the he wants to come back type stuff. And then the whole thing from the provincial legislature with the team in the room, and just hearing how much the team wants him back and the players want him back. I'm confident that he's coming back.
He said that he'd be shocked if he isn't. It's just got to talk to the family, right? So
exactly. And I'm pretty sure the family would be happy with another $500,000 and another Grey Cup ring. Just saying.
Honestly, the only player that I see going for money primarily is, and just because that's how funny he was tweeting at Rob Vanstone trying to figure out who the last linebacker, last Sam that went back to back on as a Sam all CFL is CJ Reeves.
Yeah.
Like, and don't get me wrong, dude, get paid. I will never fault a player for getting paid while he can. It was just really funny. It's like, okay, that's his priority. Is all right. I'm going to give me the money, and whether we give him the money or someone else gives him the money, good for him. I don't care.
He's going to get paid, and he absolutely deserves it.
Yeah.
Football careers are short. If a guy wants to go out there, I don't care who it is on this list. If they want to go out there and have somebody back up the Brinks truck and value that over a potential championship, go get it. At the end of the day, you got to feed your family first. You know, it's easy for us to look on the outside and be like, oh, you coward, come back, run it back once more. But, 30, 40, 50 grand when you're making 200, that's a lot of money. That's that's worth, doing your due diligence and looking out there and looking out for yourself. So, and I agree with CJ Reeves. I think he's going to go out there and at least sniff the waters a little bit and see what's out there.
He'll be tampered with, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, he's definitely hitting the Ed Hervey window. Let's put it that way.
So my top 5 list was Trevor Harris, Jamarcus Hardrick, Sam Emilus, Dante Myers. I think that's the American receiver you got to keep, and AJ Allen. Greg, your top 5?
I'm going to do this from memory. Trevor Harris, obviously Yoshi, Habakkuk, AJ Allen, and Sam Emilus. And
Yep.
is that fine? That's fine. Yeah, that's
That was your 5, yeah. So, Steve,
We're going to pretty much sweep a lot of these names. AJ Allen is a must sign. We've been over the reasons why at Passport. I'd have Trevor Harris, but I'm just so confident he's going to sign that I went with Tommy Stevens. Dante Myers is the other one, and Sam Emilus. You need that consistency for Trevor Harris and the Canadian in there. And then Jamarcus Hardrick.
it's kind of, I mean, we spend so much time together, the three of us, chatting together, that it's almost like one voice all the time, but it just goes to show that like these are the core guys of this and that's not a shot at anybody else
No.
in that free agent list. But when it comes down to Passport, and again, if you're serious about 2026 being a run at another potential championship, those really are the top guys.
Legitimately, I could go through this entire list. Like I said, I could pick 2 that I am certain aren't coming back. And then there's probably about maybe 10 maybes, and the rest are all must signs.
Yeah.
It's really hard to pick apart and take your must signs and must move ons from a championship winning roster. And not just like a team that kind of lucked their way in. This is a team that led from start to finish in 2025. It's a talented group of guys that unfortunately were a lot of expiring contracts that will lead to some interesting moves in the offseason.
I think that's one thing that not enough people have probably made their peace with is this team led from pillar to post all season.
I've never seen that from this
No.
team. From week 1 to week 24, they were the best.
Did they have a couple stinkers? Yeah, a couple. Of course they did. Every team has that. Did they have a couple games where they probably should have won but decided to rest starters? Yeah. Like they literally at the end of the season, they called their record of what they wanted it to be, and that's fine. But this is probably one of the better Rider teams ever put together.
And one other thing about free agents, all the other players that were on the practice roster to end the season, now free agents. I'm not going to go over that list. There'll be a couple of them that come back. But one, what was it, Deshaun Stevens, the defensive lineman? He was with the Thunder, right? Am I thinking of the right guy?
No, you're not. Actually, you don't have the Thunder players on here. Kent Neffa,
Caleb
Barajas, and James Lucio were Thunder 5th-year players that were practicing with the Thunder, or were practicing with the Riders. And actually, they were on the field during Grey Cup. It was actually pretty cool to see that.
Yeah, I saw those pictures.
Yeah.
I copied them. Truthfully, I copy and pasted 3 Down Nations list, so blame them for any errors.
And I will.
This is what happens when they take the big money. Their quality goes down.
Yeah. Well, that's the opening kickoff presented by Kathy Festian of Roy LePage Next Level. Time for Remember That Guy. Greg, I know you were going to take a drink there, so take a drink now.
Oh, I'm fine. I can do it.
Okay. Sponsored by District 306, Regina's Tactical Laser Tech Experience. Greg's going to give us some hints about a former Rough Rider player, and we have to guess who it is. So let's remember that guy. How many Van Stones is this one, Greg?
I think about a 3.
Okay.
Like, you might get it after the first one. You might. While he went to Long Beach. No, it's not Dennis Guile. It will never be Dennis Guile.
One day it will be.
And not if you keep on guessing him first. It will never be. While he went to Long Beach State, he was born in Honolulu. He had No. He had negative 11 receiving yards, but 22,474 career passing yards, plus 2 punts with the Riders with an average of 54.5 yards. Has spent time in BC, Ottawa, Edmonton, Winnipeg, San Francisco, Hamilton, Waterloo, and Simon Fraser. Began coaching, and then the following year was the backup quarterback for that team.
I really should know this.
He's a true renegade, if you will.
Kerry Joseph? No.
No. Also known as the Throwing
Oh.
Samoan.
Oh.
Joe Pow Pow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, you're going back. That's the first time you've gone way back on a name.
Huh.
I don't know why Joe Pow Pow popped in my. I actually found a color picture of Joe Pow Pow in a Riders uniform. I've never seen it before.
They're all
I
about
couldn't.
photos.
I could not believe it. It's like it was like finding a unicorn. I'm like, I've never actually seen Joe Pow Pow in a Riders uniform before.
One of the more beloved coaches,
He is.
at least anyway. Like especially in recent memory with Ottawa, like people have great words to say about Joe Pow Pow. I know nothing about him. I really wish I did know more about him, but never met him, never interviewed him, nothing. I have no story about him.
Just somebody
it
who
is-
belongs on the all CFL names list.
Well, that is true. But you're right. He's universally beloved. Like I cannot think of anyone that has ever said a bad thing about Joe Pow Pow besides his probably coaching decisions. But but as a man, no. But, yeah.
Joe Pow Pow.
Well, yeah. The funny thing is, though, he technically retired. I want to say in '87, and he started coaching the BC Lions as quarterback coach in '89, and then 1990 he was Doug Flutie's backup for the BC Lions. So he retired from coaching to unretire from football to play another year as Doug Flutie's backup in BC.
Did not know that. There we go. Joe Pow Pow. Remember that guy. You could have given me 30 guesses. I probably would have blanked. I'm not used to you going back so far in time. That's
Right?
it's all these
At some point, I had to. At
Like-
some point, I had to.
furthest you went back, I think, was like Arkel Trueluck.
No, I went to replacement Steve.
That's true.
It's true. And Arkel Trueluck did get a shout out in the comments today.
He did
We've heard it.
by Kelly Bell. Yeah, I saw.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm gonna have to start looking at old rosters now just to.
It's not just about you guys. There's other people that play along as
Get,
well.
get some names going. Good one, Greg. Let's get to our Churchill Brewing Company odds and end zones now, and kind of hinted at it last week, where wanted to talk about the CFL State of the Union address. I'm going to take a little bit of time and kind of get to that because there was a lot to unpack there. First off, the stuff we know is going to happen. We kind of briefly mentioned it. The schedule will be out on Tuesday, December 9th, with the BC Lions having touchdown Kelowna back-to-back weeks. We found that out this week. So you can start making your plans. Don't set wedding dates, guys.
I gotta admit, I'm a little shocked that
until 10th.
they aren't putting the Riders out at Touchdown Kelowna. I think that's the first theme game that the Riders aren't in.
Hey, we weren't in the first couple of Atlantic games, or touchdown Atlantics, and then they realized that we'll all flock to those and sell them out again.
That being said, Touchdown Kelowna is really easy for the Elks and Stamps fans to get to.
Yes. So
And I love how mad Argos fans are that BC's getting their lost home games in the province, and Argos fans, and they're not wrong.
Oh, hey,
Considering
they
how
got
many
Hamilton.
areas around there.
They got
can-
Hamilton.
Yeah, but think about how many places around there that they can take games to. Also, Hamilton fans, I hope to God they're ready for a bunch of Argo colors at the Ticat Stadium when the Argos are the home team there. Nothing will make me happier than listening to Adam Goss doing his Argos chant from the press box in Hamilton, just for the fury of Hamilton fans. But I digress.
Other things we knew was a new website is coming for the league and all teams, which Genius Sports is not going to be a part of. And
Deuces.
see you later.
Good riddance.
Hopefully never. And season-long fantasy football coming in 2026. So that's what we know is going to happen. So a couple of things that I took note of from this State of the Union address. And of course, they always started off, here's the good stuff, record revenue year, game day revenues up again for fourth straight year. Okay, sure. Our profits up. Because those are two totally different things. Revenue up is good, obviously. There's nothing wrong with that. But let's see the other side of it, which I know they're never going to put out. And it is what it is, right? But
Well, and the closest we ever get to seeing that is when Winnipeg and Saskatchewan open their books because they have to, because they're publicly owned. So we used to be able to get 3 points of data back when Edmonton showed their books. Now that they're private, we can't. So I have a feeling the Riders are going to have a very good year this year.
I can't imagine why, as I look over at Alex right now.
Their revenue should be very high in 2025.
And there's 8 teams that are thrilled about that.
Yeah. Thank you for revenue sharing. You're welcome, guys. And also, Winnipeg should have a fairly good year as well due to their attendance. We'll see where their merchandise and that drops off. But let's face it, those two teams right now are the bellwether of this league. So it's not going to tell us a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So they should just open up those books, divide by 2, multiply by 9, and that's the league revenue, right? That's how it works.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly how it works.
Just average it out. Yeah. Simple math.
Man,
the league would be in such good shape if that was the case.
Yeah. The good news with obviously the revenues and everything going up is the salary cap is tied to revenues. So the salary cap will be going up and the coach's operations cap is going to go up as well too. They're not going to add any more to the roster for coaches. They're not getting rid of the salary or the coach's cap, but they're going to add to it. So yeah, good.
Step in the right direction. They need to get rid of the operations cap entirely, but we can all thank Chris Jones for that one.
I was going to say, by God, I just heard Chris Jones' music once I heard the salaries are going up.
And ratings were up for the third straight year. So that was the positives that Stuart Johnston announced at Grey Cup week there. And it was confirmed by him. I was asked by Justin Dunk talking about, okay, your announcement about the rule changes back in September. What about the Americanization of the CFL and all that? He did say we are not touching the wide fields, 3 downs, unlimited motion. Those are staying. So to me, the original announcement, when he said this at Grey Cup week, I said that was the problem with the original announcement. I think a lot of people would have been okay with the rule changes and whatnot if he came out and said right away, we are not going to 4 downs. We're staying 3. But he left that open-ended. And the second you do that causes doubt. And
well, the fact someone flat out asked him and he said basically nothing's off the table, and that just like that's when everyone's like, all right.
Yeah. So he did address that he probably didn't handle that properly at the beginning, which you didn't.
Thanks, Stu.
Stu. But whatever. First time ever doing it. Maybe you can cut him a little bit of slack for that. Some people will, some people won't, whatever. But what I really took out of this was it was nothing. That was a corporate CEO talking corporate jargon. He gave absolutely no answers to anything.
Which is why they hired him.
Yeah.
Yep.
So a question for discussion here, guys. Have we, the CFL fans, been given too much in the past? And should the league scale back their access that they've given to us. We've been able to talk to commissioners on this show. You can go shake their hands at Grey Cup and talk to them. This guy seems a little different. I might be wrong. I don't know him. I haven't talked to him yet. But he really just feels like that corporate CEO guy that is going to not hide in the shadows, but he's not going to be out there as the face of the franchise, right? He's going to have the board make their decisions and announce them whenever. But it doesn't seem like he's going to be a guy that's going to just be out there and try to talk people off the ledge.
Well, when you look at the guys we've had over the last 10 years, your Jeffrey Orages and your Randy Ambrosies, who have been more public facing figures, and what has that gotten them? Anytime anything doesn't go a CFL fan's way, they completely lose their minds and blame the current commissioner, not realizing how little power the commissioner actually holds. We go through this every time that any of these guys has made any announcement. It's like, this is the board of governors. He is a figurehead. That is all he is. But if you look at leagues like the NHL, the NFL, they all have their big bad commissioners who accept that role and just stand up there and they make their announcements, and that's what you get. You don't get the friendly handshakes and the love, and there's a reason Gary Bettman's booed so loudly and yet is still in power in the NHL after how many years. Maybe this is a good thing. I think it might be time that the CFL does take that look and just tell us how it's going to be instead of trying to make us, part of the process. And I don't mean us as in the podcast. I mean fans in general.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, selfishly, like, let's be honest, Randy could not get on our pod fast enough. We sent one email to Lucas, and he was like, tomorrow good? No, okay. And let's be honest, we've asked for Stuart a few times, and I'm not saying Lucas is putting us off or the CFL's pushing us off. It's just like, when he's free, he's got a lot of stuff to do. And he probably does have a lot of stuff to do. It's his first year. He's finding his way out. He's making sweeping changes. Totally understand that. Am I going to be that guy that's going to complain about it? No, because at the same time, I understand that this is where self-deprecation comes in. We're a rinky-dink podcast with 7 listeners type thing. Like, he doesn't need to bend over backwards for us. And for the fans that, and I understand, that freaked out about him not doing the fan Q&A like Orages did and Ambrosi did.
Those things are painful.
I was going to say there's
be
never
honest.
been a good question asked. There has never been a good question asked because it's the same questions every year. And also to put Stuart Johnston in that position after he literally ticked off everybody because of these upcoming rule changes, it would have been an absolute gong show. So I do not fault him for not putting himself in that situation, or if he wanted to put himself in the situation, someone having the brighter idea going, maybe not this year. Because you heard how he got booed. Legitimately, he got booed out of the building. I was saying Stu, just for everyone who's here.
You're saying Stu or Stu Earns?
I was definitely saying Stu. But has the league has always been driven by fans and has catered to fans. And they still can. It's just we don't need a front seat access to everything.
I think some transparency would have helped, though.
Yes.
When you announce these changes, going to a smaller field specifically, and people freaking out about that. Explain the why. Why are we doing this? Right? It's so we can get into more venues. That's what it is. So we can play in just about any football stadium in the world. That's what it's about. Right now, we're restricted.
Soccer stadium in the world.
Yeah. Like right now, we're restricted to a handful of stadiums that fit the dimensions of the current field.
And some that don't even fit the dimensions of the current field. Toronto.
So the percentages are so low. Just saying, this gives us the potential. Don't have to get deep into details, but just say this gives us the potential to reach more markets. You guys want a 10th team? You guys want 12 teams at some point? This is a step to try and make that happen. If he would have just been transparent and said that, I'm a big fan of the reason, like giving people the reason why. Why are we doing this? They don't have to agree with it. Explain it to them. And that was the biggest thing missing from his September 22nd rule changes announcement was we're going to move the goalposts. Why? We're going to score 60 more touchdowns. Well, do we need 60 more touchdowns? This was already an exciting season.
Yeah, over 81 games is a touchdown and a third. Like it's per game. It's not that big a deal, or less than a touchdown a game. But at the same time, literally, this is all you have to do is go. You guys love the game. We love the game. We want to take it everywhere, and the best way to do that is let's just shrink the field by 20 yards, and we can take this to here and here and here. And show them why our brand of football is the best game in the world. That's all they had to do.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, they were talking stats and, 3% of plays go across the middle. That's why we got to move the goalposts. Like, oh, bud, you don't know the market. You do not know the crowd you're aiming for here.
Derek Taylor was thrilled at that announcement. The rest of us are going, okay, but why?
I think it was DT that kind of grilled him on a couple questions at that State of the Union address too about some of the stats and like how do you know you're going to get all this when this is proven that they're not going over the middle. Like so all of a sudden you're going to open the middle. Is that really going to happen? Teams have adapted around it. So, but anyway, what I found, and Greg, to your point about who your target market is and whatnot, who you're talking to. His message that I got out of that State of the Union address was that if you don't like the changes, like I'll put this in quotes, the older fans, I'm even including myself in there. Okay, I'm younger than you guys, but like people that have been fans of this league for a long time.
You just had to throw that in there, didn't you?
Yes, thank you. Glad you noticed that. But if you don't like the changes, I don't care. The younger fans will. You didn't say that in so many, like it wasn't in so many words, right? But I really got the vibe that it was, yeah, people aren't going to like it. The kids will.
I hope so. That's the market you need to attract.
Yes. But you also have to keep in mind, who are the ones that are paying the bills right now? Who are going to Grey Cup week and spending thousands of dollars? Who are going to games who's flying out to games all the time? It ain't the 20-year-olds.
I bet money you could blindfold a bunch of fans, take them to a location that they've never been to, sit them down and put a football game on. It would take till about halftime before they realize there's 20 yards missing. If you just put a C at the center line, it would probably they wouldn't catch on right away. The game is not going to change that much, guys. It's really not. And the timing, whatever, that's play clock. They still got to figure that out, obviously. Everyone's worried about the last 3 minutes, which, as proven by the Riders in the West Final, that last 3 minutes means a lot.
They're probably not going to change that last 3 minutes very much.
No, so they got to figure that out. And yes, and as per Alexander's comment here, is all Canadian football fields have the goalposts in the same spots. This was my concern from the get-go, is this is going to affect Canadian football from the grassroots all the way up. And yes, he said in his address that if there's a U Sports junior conflict, the CFL will cover the costs for switching the field back and forth, as they should. But that's not going to help Moosomin with their field if the rules get changed. Lemberg, all these small towns that have these football fields that are made for the Canadian game.
I do want to bring up this one other comment here. Show us the data.
Yeah.
Where are you getting all these stats from? Oh, research has shown we're going to get 60 more touchdowns. Well, who's saying that?
Stuart Johnson.
Well, yeah, but like, is there really going to be, right? And you can make up stats to prove anything. 60% of people know that.
You'll know that, yeah.
But it's, again, it just comes down to the transparency. Like, just say, you know what, we really believe this is going to happen. Like, this is how to market our game to the younger crowd, to get everybody involved. We're not getting rid of this. We're not getting rid of that. We're still staying, 3 downs, 65 yards wide, waggle, all that kind of stuff. But I really hope it was a learning lesson for Stuart Johnston that September 22nd, and also kind of getting grilled by the media at Grey Cup week. I really hope that's a learning lesson for him going forward, because this league does need to improve. I think we're all on board with wanting it to improve and get to a 10th team eventually, hopefully more down the road, and bring in more money so these guys can start making some money. Like, these players are getting paid peanuts for what they're actually worth compared to everybody else who's doing the same job across the world.
There was a point where the CFL players were making more than NFL players.
Yep.
And then the NFL.
I'm not saying that's ever going to happen again, but it would be nice if it was closer.
And it wasn't that long ago. We were all alive when that was the case.
Well, a couple of you were.
You were alive too.
Just another one. Thanks, Alex.
But yeah, I mean, it was what, the 90s, where quarterbacks in the NFL were only making a couple million a year, right? Like, that's not much different than what CFL quarterbacks were making, right? So we want that to happen. Just Stu, just say it, or don't say anything at all. I'm sure we'll be talking more about rules and such throughout the off season, so we'll do that as we go. But every week in the off season, at least starting now until we run out of positional groups, which hopefully should take us to about free agency. Really hoping the time. I haven't looked at the calendar or anything yet. Really hoping it goes there.
That means we would have to plan ahead.
Yeah, that does not happen. We show up 5 minutes before the show. We're going to look at the positions. So we can have this in the Creasy's Premium Home Leisure Jacuzzi Spas free agent preview.
I made a graphic while you were talking.
I see that. Was going to mention to you that, hey, we should do this in this spot. Anyway, we're going to start by talking quarterbacks. And we had a question that was posed to us during the season. We put it off until now because it's super relevant with all 4 quarterbacks on the roster, not named Braden Shager, who are free agents. What is the succession plan for Rough Rider for QB1? Like, what is the plan here going forward? So out of all these names we'll get to that question in just a second. But let's talk these quarterbacks. Trevor Harris. Yes. Must sign. We're all on board with that.
Yes.
Think it's going to happen. It's probably going to happen. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we hear something official from the team on that. I'm hoping it's done.
Trevor Harris under your tree before Christmas.
Exactly. Right. Like, that's the main thing.
I wonder where the next name is going to go and where Alex is going to go on that one.
Jack Cohn, bring him back.
Oh.
Why not? Sure. Whatever. But Jake Maier, free agent. Do you bring him back? Do you offer him a contract if you're general manager Jeremy O'Day?
No.
If I'm O'Day, I absolutely do. And there's a big reason for it. For me, 2027 and the Grey Cup hosting is now looming very large. And if you're going into 2026 likely thinking that's it for Trevor Harris, maybe it's not, but maybe it is. You need somebody back behind him. And Jake Maier has shown at least flashes that he can be the guy. He's also shown flashes that he has nowhere near the talent to be the guy at the same time. So, but until we find somebody better, unless they have their eye on somebody else out there with that veteran presence behind Trevor Harris, the last thing I want to do is go into 2026 with no backup option. We've seen how that works, and it is not pretty.
I think there's got to be somebody out there better than Jake Maier. Probably should have looked at the other free agent list before I said that, but yes, I agree. You need to have that succession plan definitely for 2027. You want that guy in house next year. I just don't think it's Jake Maier. I really don't.
Here's a name for you, and he's a potential free agent, I believe. Dustin Crum.
No.
Now, I've said during the season, I said absolutely not. This guy is not starting material in the CFL. Maybe he made me eat a little bit of crow. He did show improvement in a few of those games this season, to the point where if he wasn't on the Ottawa Red Blacks, probably have a couple more wins to his name. That place just seems like a cesspool for winning lately. So I'm not saying he's the future plan, but loading up to a potential 2027 with Trevor Harris, maybe there's a guy there.
I can't disagree with that less. Or I can't agree with that less. I can't disagree with that more. I don't see anything in Dustin Crum. If his first appearance doesn't come out as that Crum back, I doubt we ever hear his name again. He is a running back with a half decent arm, and you need better than that at the quarterback position if you have championship aspirations. And this roster should. As long as we have Corey Mace at the helm, this roster should have championship aspirations. And I just don't see it with Dustin Crum. I hope if they do sign him, I hope he proves me wrong, but I'd rather they give the ball to Tommy Stevens.
Crum, Schultz, and Tyree Adams are all out of Ottawa are all free agents.
I'm not saying go purge Ottawa players, because that's you look at their roster the last couple of years, even the good players don't do good there. I'm just throwing out a name. I would personally take him over Jake Maier. You guys know how I feel about Jake Maier. I think he served exactly what he needed to this year. It was fine. It was better than Mason Fine, but it was all about Trevor Harris. So when I look down the road and I think about this, what is the succession plan? There is none.
Nope.
There is no succession plan.
Literally,
You want it to potentially be a Jack Cohn who's here for a couple of years and can, slide into the backup role next year. And then, 2027, if Harris isn't back, or 2028. Honestly, I think Harris is back through 2027. I think he's here for the Grey Cup year here. I honestly believe that.
I think if they do announce it, it will be a 2-year, whether he's a starter in 2027 or just a pull cord in case of emergency in 2027. We'll find out.
But then if he is the starter, if he is under a 2-year deal, then Jake Maier is exactly the kind of guy you want behind him. But then the question becomes, does Jake Maier want to stay here anyways? Because he came here thinking this is it for Trevor Harris. I can show my stuff and I'm the starter going forwards. Now, if he's around for 2 more years, he might be looking for his next opportunity. So,
but really, what's the difference between a Taylor Powell and a Jake Maier at this point?
A Grey Cup ring?
As a starter?
Kerfala Exume has a Grey Cup ring, Steve.
Yeah.
It's a valid point.
Cody Fajardo's out there. Just saying.
Oh, he's never coming back to Saskatchewan.
So when I look at it, and I go back to Luke Mullender when we had him just before the season started, or is that when we had him just before the season started? Was when he was talking about Canadian players, and this is how I think it is with quarterbacks. Let another team develop them. Let another team waste 3 years and get them ready for the pro game, and then sign them in free agency. I think that's the plan. That they're not saying that's the plan, but I think that's how it ends up.
Just saying,
year by year right now, if you're the Riders, you don't have a long-term guy on that roster that's going to be your quarterback for 5, 6, 7 years. You do not have that. it might be Jack Cohen, but we don't know that. So there's no certainty there. Play it by ear. See who's available next year. Because if you're going back with Trevor Harris in 2026, that buys you another year. If he comes back in 27, that buys you another year to see who else is out there.
And hopefully by then, maybe Curtis Rourke's up here. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Braden Shaker turns into something. But at the same time, I'm looking at the list right now. There is nobody out there right now. It is slim pickings when it comes to quarterbacks.
I'm just saying, if you got Trevor Harris till 2027, you know who's a free agent at the end of 2027. We just beat him in the Grey Cup on a third of a hamstring. Yeah, maybe you throw some money at him in free agency. They've produced, or they've put the work in. Now bring him here.
I mean, if he's available, you make that offer, obviously. But I cannot see that happening.
Yeah, I can't see that happening.
Not a
anytime
chance.
anyway. But to me, it's so different with 1-year contracts in the CFL than it is, in the NFL, where you lock up your quarterback for 8 years. You sign him to a 5-year entry-level contract because you drafted him in the first year or first round. You have him for 5 years guaranteed, unless you decide to cut him. Like, we don't have that. So I honestly think it's a year-by-year decision. I truly believe there is no succession plan here for a quarterback.
Well, especially considering Curtis Rourke, who the Riders drafted this year in the Canadian draft, due to his drafting in San Francisco, is locked into 3 years, possibly, just based on where he got drafted. So if you think Rourke is the future, we're not seeing him for at least 2-3 years.
So I don't know. We'll see. I think this year or this free agent period, it's obviously Trevor Harris is back. I really think they bring back Tommy Stevens. I think he wants to be here. I think they see the value in him. I mean, he had a couple touchdowns in the Grey Cup. It's pretty important.
Shea Patterson proved why we moved on. Like, even if Tommy Stevens didn't score a single touchdown and just got his first downs that game and we still won, Shea Patterson proved why we moved on from Shea Patterson.
But that's going to be the topic for the next couple of years, no matter what. It always is in Saskatchewan, quarterback 1. Usually it's QB2, but it'll be, I don't know. I'm not worried about it because of what I saw from Trevor Harris and that offensive line. Because if they have the ability with the ratio the way it is to start 3 to 4 Americans on that O-line, and if you're going to have those guys keep your quarterback healthy like they did with Trevor Harris this year, then you don't have to worry about it.
So what's such a weird feeling?
You're right.
This is not my natural setting. I don't know what to do. I need an adult.
So
I like this.
We'll just run down that list again really quick. Trevor Harris, we all say yes, is back. Jake Mayer,
No.
I don't think he is.
I don't think he's back. I
don't think he is, but I would like him back. I think Trevor Harris coming back kind of kiboshes that plan, but that's okay. I'll take Trevor Harris over Mayer.
Every time. Tommy Stevens, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Greg's a yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, of course I'm a yes.
And Jack Cohen, I'm going to say no.
I had high hopes for him, but I think they got a bunch of guys on their neg list. I wouldn't be surprised if they bring him to camp and he falls to the wayside because he's had a head start. So
I couldn't possibly care less on that one. He just hasn't shown enough for me to get excited about. But bring him back to camp and see if he can do something in the offseason and prove us wrong. But
well, Jeremy O'Day's got his work cut out for him. He's not enjoying the celebration like I am still. So we'll see next week. I expect there to be some names signed next week, not just practice roster guys from this year. I expect a couple fairly good name signings to come in over the next week. So we'll keep watching that as it happens. But until then, I think we'll leave it there here this week, guys, unless you guys got something else.
No, my lungs is trying to escape my body, so the sooner we wrap this up, the better.
All right, well, we'll wrap it there. Piffles Podcast is brought to you by our great friends at Dairy Queen on Elphinstone Street and Sass Drive in Regina. Special thanks, of course, to Kathy Festian of Royal LePage Next Level, Churchill Brewing Company, District 306, Regina's tactical laser tag experience, Bigfoot Vodka, and Creasy's Premium Home Leisure Jacuzzi Spas for their support, making everything possible. Thanks for watching the live feed, listening wherever you get your podcasts, watching on SAS Telemax TV on demand. We appreciate it. This is Tyler Gilbert with Ghost Behind Your Mind.
The ghost behind your mind are waiting for you. I won't pretend to be blind like I have for so long. The ghost behind your mind are waiting for you.
Thank you for being such a big supporter and fan of the CFL and myself personally.